thoughts. The first thing, let's look at it from many angles. Let's look at it in a simple angle first. What is a thought? Very obvious. Most can use their intellectual, thoughtful mind to understand what the thought is. Let's imagine a thought inside. The thought is, I'm listening to this speaker. That's a thought. I am listening to this speaker. This thought is made up of sounds, even internal sounds, even in a quiet mind, even when you're saying it to yourself. There's an idea that it's a sound-based quality. It's also a linear quality. It comes in a very time sequential way, where the words are organized in a specific way for that what wants to understand the thought easily, thoughtfully. So the thought exists as something that wants to understand itself. It's also made up of words. And if you're an American, it may be the English word. If you're a Hindu, it may be the Hindu words, meaning only I can know the Hindu words. So I only know the Hindu thoughts because I was born in Nepal, India. And therefore, all my thoughts have been organized through a surrounding noise to give me some sort of feeling of belonging to this world of Hindu. Now, that's what thoughts are. Moving words, and the words have been born from possibly emotions, feelings, and what do you call it? Reactions to life. Reactions to that what is within, and reactions to that what is out with. A gasp. Wow. Oh. Oh. Made into, I want to share it with that one. But thoughts are mind, you see. Only mind understands thoughts. That what gave birth to the thoughts has no relationship with mind until mind makes it known through thoughts, through words, through sensations. Now, that's what the thought within is, that words. I am listening to this speaker. Now, question is, can we live, whatever we are, without thoughts? Well, I've already answered this question, because that what gives birth to the thoughts is prior to thoughts. That what gives birth to the thoughts, to accept the thoughts in whatever form, whatever language, whatever state, whatever word, is prior to the thought. Okay? So we can live, whatever we are, without words, without names, without identities, without associations, without imaginations, without fantasies, without beliefs, without hopes, without associations, without attachments to that what is thought-based. Everything is thought-based from a mind's perspective and a mind's point of view. Mind's job only is to create an idea of what it is trying to represent. You see? Thoughts are trying to represent you. They're not trying to engulf you. They're not trying to control you. They're not trying to punish you. They're not trying to make your life more practical. They're not trying to make you into some sort of superior being. They're just here to represent what they see, you see. Now the idea of what thoughts see has grown arms and legs, because the more words that are introduced into the Hindu language, the Jewish language, the English language, create more thoughts. You see, the more thoughts we have, our mind says, the more intellectual you become, the more sought after, the more respected you'll become. And then the one that cannot cope with organizing their thoughts, you see, the thoughts are, it's the thoughts that's speaking. This is a thought-based video. This is all thought. So the thoughts want to organize themselves into some sort of structure, into some sort of way. And they use time as a sequential way of doing it. They use compartments. They use different ways, they can store them in books. They can write diaries. They can make videos. They can do anything to keep the thoughts from moving away from them. But some, to the extent the thoughts actually take over the representation of what they see, the thoughts now believe to be superior or inferior. You see, that two opposing ways. So that thoughts that engulf what we now see ourselves as through a thought-based mind, the body, it feels as if the body is confronted with this feeling of suffocation through the thoughts. So thoughts, to the one that is, living life in whatever way, fruitfully, as a poet, creating words, creating feelings, creating emotions, they love their thoughts, they love their mind, they love who they are, you see, because the mind will say, this is who you are. This is your name, this is your identity, and this is who you are. And you begin to promote your name, you begin to promote your company's name, you begin to promote that what you feel is enhancing your life, you see, because the thoughts appear to enhance the life that it represents. And of course, some, they store thoughts that are very negateful to their presence, to their idea of being alive. And they don't see thoughts as a valued entity. But they give birth, they accept the thoughts that give them hope. See? Hope. And the hopeful thoughts come from those, the poets and everything, to say, this is going to be you. This can be you one day. If you just believe, if you just hope, if you just trust that the thoughts will lead you to something more merrier, something more fruitful. So we're confronting each other with good and bad thoughts. Very simple. You don't have to, you wasted 9 minutes of your time because you know this, you see. But what gives birth to the thoughts? Again, we've discussed it. Mind doesn't give birth to the thoughts. Mind takes the thoughts into the factory and makes what it wants out of it to give itself, appearing as you, their self, their person, their mind, a better chance in life, a better quality of life, a better materialistic wealth in life, a better relationship with the most beautiful partner in life. I want these thoughts to give me something that will represent who I am, you see. So the mind takes the thought, you see. The thought has to be born. The mind does not give birth to the thoughts. The thoughts arise from something far more pure, than what the thoughts can offer you. You see, what the mind can offer you. The mind can offer you so much, riches, so much opportunity, so much success. But the mind is not doing it to make division between people. The mind is doing it because it wants to represent the truth of what we all are equally. So let's say God. God gives birth to the thought within you. Okay? How does this happen, you see? God offers you a name. Each one of us is offered this name. It's not a mental constructed name, an offering, a word, a thought, a base, follow me, says God. That's not the name, you see. But God gives you the name, and the name he gives you is I. I is the birth of thoughts. I gives birth to thoughts. So there's a kind of mismatch, but a match. I, whatever I is, this life, that's your name when you're born from God. I. A representation of me, says God. I. Another one. I. Another one. I. Another one. I. But I itself is a thought. You see? So this symbolic I, this I that we know so well, that we use in every day in our mental constructed way of living. I am here, I want this, I want that, I'm going to the shops, I'm getting a haircut today, I is watching the TV, I wants to be happy, I wants to be swimming, I wants to be this, I wants to be that, you see. So this I is a representation of God. What God knows, this I cannot survive without a mind making something out of it. So God can be the giver of I, but also the mind that witnesses I from the other side. So God is watching from both sides, this I. Okay? Gives birth to I and watches I. Okay? And when I seems to be failing, failure is simply a word, when I seems to have lost sight of what it is, God attacks from the mind and witnesses from the truth. So the thought can be valuable to those that are believing that they are this human being, this human body constructed form, to get out of that human constructed form by using the thoughts. So therefore one day when this human form feels so bound, so incredibly, every thought takes it to the same point. I want to die. I've had enough of this. I have had enough of this. I want out of this. The thought arises not from the mind, because the mind has done everything in its utmost. Everything in its utmost to give you the most positive thoughts from the external world, from the internal world, but it's so full. It is so full that it cannot see through the veil and it cannot react to the mind anymore, you see. They say it becomes ego, but it's not the mind that becomes ego. You become ego, you see. The content of what you have kept and stored in your books, in your diaries, in your mind, in your brain, in your VHS tapes and everything. I don't want to let anything go, you see. But I can't put up with it. I have no more space. This is ego, you see. This is ego. I will not give up. I will not give up. So the thoughts cannot help with your state of presence, your state of life anymore. So God comes from the witnessing point and removes the I. You see, removes the I. You think God just has got time to say, well, I'll remove this one and I'll remove that thought and I'll remove this thought. Well, I'll just remove the whole goddamn lot, you know. So this they call enlightenment, this they call awakening. What does it mean, you see? Let's just touch for a moment on awakening and light. What does it mean? It means light. You know, it's like I'm floating. Sat Chit Ananda, bliss. I'm empty. I'm pure. I'm living. I am so infinite. I'm immortal. You see? Because you have been taken out of this equation, you see, this life, this thoughtful and emotional world, just for one moment, you see, because you can't live without this I, you see. So God takes out this I, okay? And in that moment, you've touched base with God. And you witness. Cece says, the door opened, I was in the inside. And this new I that's in the inside is the same I, but God has taken it inside itself and cleansed it down. Neem Karoli Baba says, cleanse the mirror of your heart and you will see God. Yeah, give God the mirror. God takes the mirror. The mirror is within I, you see. The mirror is within I. I am reflecting good. I am reflecting bad. I am reflecting all opposing values and states that have been born from this thoughtful mind. So the mirror, God takes out this I mirror and cleanses on the other side of the door. You Sisi and Rumi in this one says, it doesn't say you go through the door. You go through the door, I says, right, I'm taking everything out. You're gone. Pooh, no use to me anymore. You know, we are, whatever we are the most vital for God to experience life. I'm using the word God because it's a word. God means nothing to I. But the source of life, the source of consciousness is God. You don't have to give it a name, you see. But anyway, God takes this I out, cleanses it, in through the door and puts it back, your fresh new I. And the words of Christ speaks. Unless you become like the child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. The child bears no thoughts, bears no hopes, beliefs. The child exists. The child is present. The child is aware. The child, look at the child's eyes when it's born. It is just immensely empowered by what it is and what it sees. It doesn't have a Hindu language or a Jewish language or an English language. It doesn't have a thought to say, oh my God, this is great or this is terrible. It just truly is alive, you see. So, should we be giving our child thoughts? We don't give it, you see. You see, it's all based on God. God gives birth to the I. You are born from your I state. But you are also the birth of your I state. You create your I state through what you would call a negotiation with this God before you enter life, you see. You become the living of God itself, life. So you enter this state of godliness. So you cannot not be detached from God. You cannot be attached to God. The attachment is the connection between the mind, giving you a story, giving you beliefs, giving you words, giving you identities, giving you thoughts, giving you imaginations, giving you hopes, yeah, to represent what it sees in you. And you know what? Look at yourself looking at someone you love and put yourself in the position of mind, okay? And you have thoughts and you see this one that you love and you want to represent it. You want to tell the world what your say your partner or your child is like to you. Yeah? And it's expressed with words. It's expressed with feelings. It's expressed with thoughts. But it's expressed with love. You see? So when you see the world as love in all aspects, equally, you see yourself as mind reflecting that love. The I never reflects what you would call misty. The I reflects purely until it gives birth to the thought that I starts diminishing, you see. So when you say I am dying, I am getting old, the I starts diminishing, you see. Because the I is infinite, you see. Yourself, you are what you are, when the mind goes, when the thoughts go, there's only you and God, okay? Looking at yourself in that most pure way, and you know there is no such thing to death. There's no such thing to birth. There is only ongoing life. Thoughts are important for the mind to keep explaining to itself how wonderful people are, how wonderful life is, how wonderful you are. But these thoughts, they become intermingled. The Jew and the English and the Hindu and the Muslim and the the Russian, they all intermingle and try and tell them their thoughts are better than your thoughts. My thoughts are better than your thoughts. I can save the world, you see. This is mind saying, I can save myself. And I have to do it this way. Another thought. And everyone's going, yes, perfect. But when I says I can sort this world out my way, if you listen to me, you're taking the ownership of that one's existence, that one's being. See, the problem is when we want to control another, when we want to say that we have hierarchical, super duper people who know better than I, there's only I that knows itself. And itself is that what it is. An absolute reflection of God in its purest state. The moment the thoughts are taken away, you see, you can practice this. Who really wants their thoughts taken away? Who really wants to be that, what is it when you lose all concepts? It's not amnesia, it's, I don't know. Who wants to walk around? Who wants to walk and not know anything about what's going on? Who wants, you see, we don't want to lose the idea that there is, duality. Because duality is fun. Duality is great. Duality is competitive. Duality is sharing. Duality is giving and taking. Duality is all this ideas of just being separate, being an individual. So that cannot be taken away, this duality role. But the non-duality state, the state of where thoughts, whatever state they come in, do not burden the one that witnesses the thoughts. There's a non-dual state, you see. What is this, let's go back to the thoughts. How can thoughts not burden you, you see? How can they have no effect on you? When this God intervenes, let's call it consciousness, let's call it spirit, whatever you want to call it, intervenes to cleanse you out, to take you out of the game, to wash you down, to give you a second chance. Okay? In this body, there's no chances, you see. It's infinite life. You see, body, the reincarnation is the idea of dying and being born. No, it's the same you that reincarnates. But it's not the same you with the mind. It's not the same mind, you see. It's the same mind, but it'll give you a different language the next time. It'll give you a different colour the next time. Give you a different body the next time. Give you a different emotional, sensory body the next time. Give you a different brain the next time, you see. Scientists will disprove that and say you always keep the same brain. No, I don't know, you see. Who wants to be the same person in every life, you know? The same mind in every life. We want to experience this diverse planet, this diverse universe, you know. Who says Earth is the only planet, you see? It's so open when the thoughts are allowed to free flow, you see. So this is what when the thoughts become less of a burden, when this God intervenes, everything is witnessed. This wise sage that you are, each one of us, is revealed the truth for one moment, for one eye. And what is seen is the same world, but the curtains are open. And you say, curtains? You know that, what do you call it? Chiffon, that stuff that you see the world, yeah. So your glasses are, you think your eyes are pure. Oh, look at it, it's beautiful. And you don't realize there's a veil in front of it. So all that's lifted is in this cleanse. You know, when you dust the vase, it's all dusty. You see the shine, you see the glimmer, you see the everything pure about the vase. So this moment, the veil is lifted. You see the same world, but you see it in its intensity, its beauty. And the thoughts are also still appearing, but they don't mask what is truly here. So you see through this veil of ego, this veil of mind. You see through the veil of the thoughts. The thoughts still exist. I am looking out the window. But we're not attaching to the words. We're not attaching to the meaning. We're not attaching to an experience. We're not attaching to a thought. We're simply allowing the words to pass. And seeing through means two ways. They're translucent, they're transparent. They're just emotional movements of life. But like the policeman says to the burglar, you stole the jewels from that house. And the burglar says, you have no proof. You didn't catch me. I have no jewels. You didn't even see me go into the door. You didn't see me come out of the window. You saw nothing. And the policeman says to the burglar, yes, you're right. But I see through you. There's something about you that makes me realize that you are the guilty one. I see through you. I can see through the masquerade of your thoughts and your words and your language and your emotions and your body. I see through you. You're a fake. And that's what the thoughts become. They become real as they pass through the head, pass through the body. Yeah. And when even the thought, you're going to die, you're going to lose your house, so be it. It's just a thought. Everything is thought when the mind from the mind. And if you believe you are this mind, you become a really, really hardened thinker. And you think the mind is so grateful to you. It takes ownership of you and says, I'll look after you until you die, you see. But that's a good thought, you see. Isn't that a good thought? Because you think, oh, something's going to look after me till I die. The looking after is a great thought. The dying, I'm not so happy about that one. But it's looking after me, you know. The one that sees that thought, I'm looking after you till I die, it just doesn't detach, doesn't see. It just sees a beautiful movement, a fluttering, buoyant bubble of syllables, sounds, turned into words with no meaning. Because the meaning of life is to be free. Be free from thoughts, but love thoughts. Be free from this body, but love this body. Be free from the planet, but love this planet. Be free from the universe, but love this universe. Be free from myself, but love myself. Be free from God, but love God. God doesn't want a witness from both sides. No, God creates time through this mind. You've got so much time, so much time. But you have to be free from time, but love this time. Free from the moment, but love this moment. Be free from the past, but love the past. Free from the future, but love the future. Free from birth, but love birth. Free from death, but love death. Free from I, but love I. But can you be free? This is the greatest thought, a question. Can I be free from consciousness? Can I, not me, can this I be free from its conscious state? What is I? Who is I? I will disperse, you see. This God will take this I out of the system. But something remains. Consciousness. Your true essence. The true essence of life, the true essence of God. The true essence of spirit, soul. The true essence of life. The true essence of being is consciousness. The truth of mind is to represent it. Is your mind representing the world well? Is your mind representing yourself well? Is your mind representing its thoughts well? Well done. Live as a human and be free from the mind. Because to accept the mind as it is to, and love it as it is to be free from it as it is. Because consciousness on its own is the most pure state of being. And in this moment, in this enlightenment, if you want to call it, the mind celebrates, the mind worships. Its job has been done immaculately. The immaculate birth, the immaculate conception is within you, is within I. God, Jesus says, I and the Father are one. Where are you in this point? Is your mind taking you out of it, saying it's nothing to do with you, you're just a body, you're just a form, you're just a figure, you're just an imagination, you're just a thought? Because the mind is looking at the mirror and seeing itself. Think about that. Whatever you see is a reflection of what the mind wants to see. But whatever you see without the mind, or whatever you reflect without the mind, is a pure reflection of you as I. And when the door opens, the eye that's being cleaned on the other side is the same eye that is looking from this side. God doesn't just take something out of you. God takes the whole you and cleans every atom, every particle, every speck of dust. Because God doesn't give birth to that what is not immaculate. You're always immaculate. You'll err for the side of human. You'll err for the side of beliefs. You'll err for the side of hopes. The mind will take you on a beautiful roller coaster or an ugly roller coaster ride. But you're never not immaculate. Enlightenment is just to remind you that the mind has represented you. It may have represented you in ways. It was confused, it was lost, it required help. It emailed God in advance, take this one, I'm struggling. And God said, yeah, no problem. No problem to God. I don't know if it answers a particular question, but thoughts are just sounds and vibrations and movements and emotions and stirrings. When there's an attachment, a belief to the words, when there's attachment and belief to the meanings, it becomes really serious. And I have to do this, and I have to do that. And if I don't do this, I won't be respected for that. So I'm moving from side to side, and the mind is always filling, giving you the options, giving you the information, giving you the tools to get you to wherever you want to be. But sometimes the mind wants to get you where it wants to be. And then if you allow that, it takes over your body, takes over your soul, and you become the ego. Totally. Yeah. Until that day of suffering comes. That day in front of the mirror. As this I encountered. The same mirror Eckhart Tolle encountered. The same mirror that, Mooji encountered. That darkness. The mirror had become so dirty. God had to give it a little clean up. So cleanse the mirror of your heart, which is your eye. Cleanse the mirror of your eye, and you will see God. What's taking place? God seeing itself as you. Thoughts will never be taken away. Humans have created so many thoughts that I have no choice when I'm born as a child. Take ownership of my name, take ownership of my identity, take ownership, because that's what everyone else says I have to do. And then the child wakes up. The child is 64 and it wakes up. It says, who am I? What am I doing? Can I be seen? What am I? Where am I looking from? What is the truth about this I that I am? Where can I find myself in its truest original place, alongside Christ, alongside? Where is the thought that supersedes all thought? That thought is. That thought is. You see? What contents is. Where is, you see? What is? Truth is. Consciousness is. I is. life is. Is. No one explores their isness. Where is. What is beyond I, as it is. No outcome, you see. No outcome, because the experience supersedes the thoughts. The experience of I, the experience of God, the experience of consciousness supersedes the mind that gives birth to the thoughts that represent you, because it cannot represent whoever you are fully. The mind cannot see, its eyes are not able to witness the purity of what you are as God. But give it some sort of applause, some gratitude, some thankful pity for trying. You know, we always applaud the trier. So applaud your mind, applaud your thoughts, see them for what they are, movement. They arise from the I within. They're born from the I within. They're not born from the world of external. Because even if they are born from the world of the external, something has to organize them and take them on board and take ownership of them. So when you take ownership of them leaving, of them being, of them passing, of them arising for you and falling for you, you the I that give birth to your life, your thoughts are seen through, and something miraculous will happen. The miracle, the mystery, the magical. Is as it is. Namaste.